Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today we are stripping away the myths of romance to uncover the engineering, geology, and theology behind the greatest architectural legacy in Indian history. We are traveling back to the 17th century, to the banks of the river Yamuna, to understand how the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan built an empire not of land but of stone. The river Yamuna winds through the plains of northern India, a sluggish and dark witness to the rise and fall of empires. Yet, upon its banks, rising like a mirage, stands a legacy written in white marble and red sandstone. This is the architectural inheritance of the fifth Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. While his grandfather Akbar built an empire of swords and alliances, and his father Jahangir cultivated an empire of art and nature, Shah Jahan sought to build an empire of stone that would outlast time itself. The era of Shah Jahan, spanning from 1628 to 1658, is universally recognized as the golden age of Mughal architecture. It was a period where the robust, eclectic style of Akbar, which fused Hindu beams with Persian domes, gave way to a more refined, orthodox, and lyrically feminine aesthetic. The sandstone turned to marble. The sturdy lintel curved into the foliated arch. The simple geometric carving blossomed into hyper-realistic floral sprays known as Parchin Kari. To understand this legacy, we cannot simply look at the Taj Mahal. Though it is the sun around which all other monuments orbit, we must journey from the dusty plains of Agra to the riverbanks of Lahore, exploring the forgotten tombs, the experimental laboratories of design, and the philosophical underpinnings that turned a mausoleum into a map of paradise. To appreciate the revolution Shah Jahan brought, we must first understand the shift in stone. When Babur, the first Mughal, arrived in India, he complained bitterly of the heat, the dust, and the lack of running water. His contribution was the charbagh, the four-quartered garden, a geometric imposition of order upon the landscape. Akbar, the empire builder, used architecture as a political tool. His buildings at Fatehpur Sikri were muscular and red, carved from local sandstone, blending Islamic domes with Rajput kiosks. They were monuments of integration. Shah Jahan was different. Upon ascending the throne in 1628, his treasury was overflowing. He did not need to project strength through jagged stone. He wanted to project divinity through polished surfaces. His reign marked the age of marble. In the Red Fort of Agra, he tore down many of Akbar's red sandstone structures and replaced them with white marble pavilions. This shift was symbolic. In ancient Hindu treatises, white stone was often reserved for Brahmins and the divine, while red was for the warriors. By wrapping his imperial structures in white marble, Shah Jahan was subtly elevating the Mughal Padishah from a warrior king to a semi-divine figure, the shadow of God on earth. No great building exists without a great mind behind it. While Shah Jahan was the visionary patron, the technical genius is often attributed to Ustad Ahmad Lahori. Lahori was not just a mason, he was a mathematician, an astronomer, and a master engineer, holding the title Wonder of the Age. The challenge facing Lahori and his team was immense. The Mughals wanted to build massive domes, but the Indian plains offered soft alluvial soil. To build the heavy monuments we see today near riverbanks, they had to invent a new kind of foundation. They utilized deep wells called cha, lined with timber and filled with rubble and mortar. These wells acted like the piles of a modern skyscraper, anchoring the structure deep into the water table. It is a supreme irony of history that the Yamuna River, which threatens the Taj Mahal today with its drying bed, was the very thing that kept the timber foundations moist and strong for centuries. The narrative inevitably centers on the Taj Mahal, completed in 1648. It is the physical manifestation of the Islamic concept of paradise. The experience is choreographed. One does not simply stumble upon the tomb. One must pass through the Great Gate, a monumental structure of red sandstone, acting as a veil between the chaotic material world and the spiritual serenity of the garden. A masterstroke of optical illusion is employed here. As you approach the gate, the Taj Mahal, framed within the arch, appears immense. As you walk through the gate, the monument appears to shrink, as if pulling away, creating a sensation of awe and unreachability. In previous Mughal tombs, the mausoleum sat in the exact center of the garden. Shah Jahan broke this rule. He placed the Taj Mahal at the far end of the garden, perched on a raised plinth overlooking the river. There are two reasons for this. Aesthetically, placing the white mountain of marble against the backdrop of the sky, rather than the garden, ensures the silhouette is uninterrupted. Theologically, the river Yamuna was incorporated into the design as one of the rivers of paradise. The garden, with its 4 water channels, represents the rivers of water, milk, wine, and honey promised in Scripture. The planting was equally symbolic. Cypress trees representing death were planted alongside fruit trees, representing life, creating a living allegory of the cycle of the soul. The main mausoleum structure is a marvel of symmetry sitting on a square plinth of marble. The 4 minarets, each over 40 meters tall, frame the tomb. Ustad Ahmad Lahori incorporated a subtle failsafe here. The minarets tilt slightly outward. To the naked eye, they look straight, but this tilt ensures that in the event of a massive earthquake, the towers would fall away from the central dome, sparing the tomb. The dome is the crowning glory. Unlike the lower hemispherical domes of early Islamic architecture, this is a bulbous or onion dome, a shape perfected in the Timurid architecture of Central Asia. It sits on a high drum, raising it toward the heavens. It is a double dome structure. A false ceiling inside creates a proportionate interior scale, while the outer shell rises high for exterior grandeur. The acoustic properties of this hollow space are legendary. A single note sung inside the cenotaph chamber reverberates for several seconds, a sonic metaphor for the lingering voice of God. If the structure of the Taj Mahal is masculine engineering, its surface is feminine jewelry. The walls are not painted, they are painted with stone. This is parchinkari, or pietra dura. While the technique of inlaying hard stones into marble existed in Europe, the Mughals adapted it to their own naturalistic sensibilities. In the Shah Jahan era, geometric stars were replaced by flowers. The precision is terrifying. A single flower, no larger than a human hand, might be composed of 60 individual pieces of stone. Cornelian from Baghdad, lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, turquoise from Tibet, malachite from Russia, jasper from Punjab, and jade from China. The artisans sliced these stones into wafer-thin sections, shaped them on bow lathes, and then chiseled out the marble base with such exactitude that when the stone was inserted, the gap was invisible to the naked eye. No glue was used. The fit was tight enough to hold, though a secret recipe of lime, molasses, and pulses was used as a binding agent. This floral obsession was not merely decorative. In Islamic mysticism, the garden is a symbol of the soul, and flowers are the manifestation of divine beauty. By covering the tomb with eternal flowers that would never wilt, Shah Jahan was wrapping the occupant in a blanket of paradise. While the Taj Mahal attracts the world's gaze, the Shah Jahani legacy in Lahore offers a fascinating counter-narrative. The Tomb of Jahangir, located in Shahdara on the banks of the Ravi River, was commissioned by Shah Jahan, but heavily influenced by Empress Nur Jahan. Here, we see a striking difference in style, dictated by the wishes of the deceased. Jahangir, a lover of nature and a man of Sunni piety, had requested that his tomb be open to the sky so that the rain and dew of God's mercy could fall upon him. Consequently, the tomb has no dome. It is a vast single-story square plinth with tall octagonal minarets at the corners. It is built primarily of red sandstone inlaid with white marble motifs, specifically wine jugs and fruit dishes. This is a tribute to Jahangir's hedonistic lifestyle. The interior, however, is pure Shah Jahani opulence, with exquisite frescoes and a complex mosaic floor. The cenotaph is a masterpiece of white marble, inscribed with the 99 names of Allah in black marble inlay. Just west of Jahangir's tomb lies the shattered husk of what was once a crucial architectural link, the tomb of Asaf Khan. Asaf Khan was the father of Mumtaz Mahal. Historically, this structure was a laboratory for the Taj Mahal. It featured a high, bulbous double dome that mirrored the Taj and an octagonal plan. Tragically, the tomb was stripped of its white marble facing in the 19th century. However, the exposed brickwork reveals the structural engineering of the dome, and the spandrels still retain fragments of glazed tile work known as kashikari. Unlike the stone inlay of Agra, Lahore's architecture favored glazed tiles due to Persian influence. The tiles on Asaf Khan's tomb display the cuerda seca technique, where different colored glazes are separated by a greasy cord during firing to prevent running, allowing for complex floral designs on a single tile. This proves that Shah Jahan's aesthetic adapted to local materials. All these mausoleums share a common floor plan known as Hasht Bihisht, or 8 paradises. Originating in Persia, this plan consists of a central chamber surrounded by 8 smaller rooms. This is not just a convenient layout, it is a cosmogram. The 8 rooms represent the 8 levels of paradise in Islamic cosmology. In the Taj Mahal, this plan is executed with perfect symmetry. The light enters through marble screens called jalis, carved so finely they look like lace, filtering the harsh Indian sun to create a soft, ethereal glow. The walls of these tombs also speak. The calligraphy, usually executed in the Thuluth script, was designed by masters like Amanat Khan. The inscriptions are carefully selected passages from the Quran, speaking of the Day of Judgment. The calligraphers employed a brilliant optical correction. They knew that inscriptions high up on the great arches would look smaller to a viewer on the ground due to perspective. To retain aesthetic balance, they progressively increased the size of the letters as they went higher. To the naked eye standing below, the letters look perfectly uniform from top to bottom, a feat of mathematical artistry. Shah Jahan's obsession with architecture eventually contributed to his downfall. When his son Aurangzeb took the throne after a bloody war of succession, The era of grand mausoleums effectively ended. Aurangzeb was an austere ruler who frowned upon such extravagance. However, the shadow of the Taj Mahal was long. In Aurangabad, a mausoleum was built for Aurangzeb's wife, known as the Bibi Ka Maqbara, often called the poor man's Taj. It reveals the decline of the empire. The scale is smaller, the symmetry is slightly off, and due to budget constraints, only the main dome and part of the walls are marble. The rest is plaster and stucco, designed to look like marble. It serves as a melancholy bookend to the Shah Jahani era. Today, the mausoleums of Shah Jahan face a new enemy: the modern world. The Taj Mahal's marble is suffering from marble cancer, turning yellow due to sulfur dioxide emissions. Conservationists use a traditional beauty treatment called Multani Mitti, a lime-rich mud pack applied to the marble to absorb impurities. Furthermore, the drying of the Yamuna River poses a structural threat. The timber wells of the foundation need moisture to prevent rot. As the water table drops, the wood risks becoming brittle, potentially destabilizing the massive weight of the dome. These mausoleums are more than just graves. They are the crystallization of an empire's highest cultural aspirations. From the silent, domeless peace of Jahangir's resting place to the soaring perfection of the Taj Mahal, they tell the story of a dynasty that sought to bring the order of the stars down to the chaos of the earth. Shah Jahan built a legacy that death could not erase.